There it is. Okay. Hi. It is Pick Central, our daily gambling show here on BarstoolSports.com. It's chaotic in the office today, but I guess you guys don't care about that. You only care about winners. You care about picks. You care about sports. You care about all that stuff. We're going to get to it. It is me, Ben Minch. You can see we're both in the shot right there. Two handsome Mississippi guys. Yep, ladies, this is if you want a man who's doughy as hell and has bags under his eyes, go to Mississippi. You'll get one of us. So congratulations. Good luck.
It's a true statement.
Good luck hunting. And to my left, we've got Big Ev. Big Ev in his pink. Yes, that is viciously pink. That is an incredibly pink shirt. Okay, we don't. All right, that's Usain Bolt? What? Okay, all right. Relax. You can talk too.
Just hit a move quick.
So we're actually flying by the seat of our pants for the first time in a while today. Usually I'm able to get a couple hours of prep in, and I did some prep this morning on the train on the way in, but I just got through interviewing WWE champion Big E in this room.
Ooh.
Yeah, Big E was, so me and Expressions, the combination of Brandon Walker and Expressions, our latest soccer hire, who is, I hate using this word because it gets thrown around too much. Like people used it when you got hired, when I got hired.
Starts with an A.
It doesn't work for us, but he is electric. He is actually electric. Like when I got hired, I remember saying, "Oh, this guy's electric." No, I'm really not. I'm more of a solid dose of Novocaine, whereas this guy is just pure electricity that walks in the room.
It just floods through his veins 24/7. He doesn't know how to not be electric.
Right. His entertainment just pours out of his body. I have to work at mine.
He wakes up in the morning and he's just electric.
So me and Expressions interviewed WWE champion Big E. That'll be out on Wrestling's YouTube by about 5 o'clock. It will be out.
I got to say, Brandon, I know you took a little break from wrestling during football season because you got a lot of shows going, but still good continuity with the content.
It'll be back in December as a full podcast with a bunch of new. We've hired a new producer on there. Well, not hired, but we have a new producer on there. We have 3 people on the podcast now. It'll be a 2-hour show every week. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better, and our last 4 videos have averaged 150,000 views on YouTube. So
well, give the people what they want.
So it's been really good. It took a lot of work, but it's turning out to be a very, very good product for me and for Barstool. Okay, so because of that, though, because that I'm flying by the seat of my pants and I'm the host, we're gonna do a Wednesday call-in show. We're gonna do a call-in show. We'll talk some sports. We'll talk some picks. We're gonna talk all these things because we got the college football playoff committee's rankings last night. That didn't change much, but we can talk about that. There's some coaching rumors out there, but 646-291-2437. I did not tell Mikey about this. I didn't know Mikey was going to be in here, but you're good on this. 646-291-2437 is the number, or 888-STOOL22. We apparently have 5 lines available on one, 5 on the other. I don't know why we do it like that, but it's Barstool, and Pete's an idiot. So that's how we're doing it. You can call in. You can give us your picks. You can give us your comments. You can call us all fat, stupid, and ugly. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to be taking calls in this hour. First, I think college football is the topic we didn't get to any of the first 2 days. I'd like to talk about it right now. Michigan State, Ohio State is the big game this weekend. It's a game that I want to talk about from the top, that every single thing on paper, every single thing on the season tells me this is a really shitty matchup for Michigan State. However, if this is a gambling show, and apparently your gambling senses, call it a hunch, call it just a feeling, call it gas, call it whatever you will. You know it. I know it. Sometimes the data tells you one thing and your gut tells you another. My gut tells me Michigan State has more fight in them than people think, and they cover this number. Am I crazy?
So, no, this is what I think about the game. You said it all. They have horrible pass defense. We have the best receivers in the country. I get it. I just think it's a perfect spot for them where everyone's over them. They stink. They quit on them. This is their last stand. This is their backs against the wall, Super Bowl, best effort kind of game. I'm expecting their best performance. I am. I think they're going to score points. 20's a lot. 20's a lot in a game like this, and I think it's a game where we had 2 games in a row where Penn State and Nebraska we didn't cover. Then I felt like a lot of people were on Purdue last week. We beat the shit out of them. Now I think people are back in Ohio State. Like, they're just going to roll. The matchup's great for Ohio State, terrible for Michigan State. 20.5 is a big number when you have a team like Michigan State that literally is their entire season is on the line.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me because, like, you look back on the D'Antonio Michigan State teams that had a crap ton of success, but they were always defensive and low scoring. You know, we all remember the famous Zeke Elliott game that Michigan State won like 17-14 or whatever when Ohio State had one loss the year after that.
That team was the best team in the country.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just interesting to me now that Michigan State has morphed into a team. You're right. Their defense is not that great. I mean, Michigan State, you never think shootout. It was 37-33 or whatever. And so the line being higher, it's one thing if the over-under's in the 40s and it's 19 or 20. This thing's 67.5, and it should be because Michigan State actually is explosive with Kenneth Walker, and, they throw the ball down the field. They actually have playmakers, but you're right about their pass defense. I mean, even McNamara in Michigan was lighting them up. They're playing higher-scoring games. And so it's one of those lines, and Ohio State gets stuck with these a lot. The Oregon line was really high.
14.5.
Yeah, Vegas knows how strong Ohio State is. They've got a massive power ranking because they're so consistent year after year recruiting, scoring points, all that. Vegas is daring people to take Michigan State here.
They are, and I think I might take them up on it despite my belief that the matchup is completely shitty. We'll see. I just, and it's not something I'm dedicated to taking right now. It's just I think it's a talking point. There are a couple teams like Ohio State's now. They're in the playoff. They're 4. They're officially. Let's say they've been there. They're 4. They're ready to go. They're getting ready for Michigan next week. I don't know if you can say facing the number 7 team in the country is a look-ahead spot.
I don't think so.
Could be a look-ahead spot. It's not a look-ahead spot.
I just think with Michigan State, I think two things. I think Day's done a good job avoiding those kind of I think he's done a good job coaching up those so-called look-ahead spots. And like you said, the number 7 team, they have one loss.
Right.
I don't think it's a real look-ahead spot game. And they're a team that had we beat the shit out of them last year when we had a bunch of COVID stuff, but they're a team that's given us problems. And I think even though that the kids that are on this specific team haven't personally dealt with that, I still just think it's a part of kind of the culture that Day was a part of the urban regime, and I think he still feels that. They beat us that time, they've given us trouble other times, so I think this is still a huge game because I remember Dave was kind of giving me some shit about the Michigan State game, kind of saying that Michigan State's not really a rival with us. Obviously, it doesn't compare to the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, obviously, but Michigan State for us is still a rival in sports. Period. We're kind of two of the more consistents in football and basketball. We get up for Michigan State 100%.
Okay, well, we'll see.
The Ohio State thing, it reminds me of the year they lost to Virginia Tech in 14 early because it's all in front of them now. They're already in the playoff. They got Michigan State at home. You got at Michigan, and you got the Big Ten title game. They went out there in, and it's not even – and that's all you can really hope for with an early season loss. It feels like the Purdue effort was just dominant. They could have scored 80 points if they'd have wanted to last week. And so, the quarterback play, C.J. Stroud has a lot more experience. He was a little nervous early in the year. He's gotten over that. I know Purdue scored 31, but the defense has gotten so much better since they made adjustments.
All right, so I promised the chat boys, everybody that watches, that we would have some calls today, and we're going to have some calls today. We will start with Billy, who wants to talk about the college football playoff. What's up, Billy?
Good afternoon, everybody. I called into the Brandon Walker College Football Show last week about Notre Dame, and I'm sure you recall, or maybe not, but the ranking this week kind of doubled down on what my take was, and I seriously mean it. There is no chance that Notre Dame gets into this college football playoff, and there's no reason that they should get into this college football playoff. They still have Michigan and Michigan State ranked ahead of them. Cincinnati's still ahead of them.
Okay.
Even if
you just told me you led off that point by telling me 2 teams that are about to lose.
It doesn't matter because
it very much matters.
The college football playoff will definitely take a 2-loss Big Ten team or a 2-loss SEC team over 1-loss Notre Dame, 100% of the time, and that includes if Cincinnati doesn't end up making it, whether they lose a game.
What is your basis? What is your basis for saying that? What precedent do you have to say that a 2-loss Big Ten team would get chosen over a 1-loss Notre Dame?
How could they not? They are a better team, and they've showed, and they have passed the eye test, especially that they are a better team than Notre Dame is. Notre Dame is not good. They've never been good.
I mean, we're
good.
We're sitting here right now.
They look good against these.
Okay, all right, Billy. Oh, fine. Billy, Notre Dame's schedule isn't great. It isn't bad, though, either. And Michigan, if they were to lose to Ohio State and you were to put their resume up against Notre Dame, why does Michigan with 2 losses outweigh Notre Dame? Because who's Michigan's best win at that point? It'll be Wisconsin who's going to end up like number 20. It does fucking matter. It does. Quit saying it doesn't matter. It does matter.
You're a moron.
It does. No, don't you say I'm a moron. You're saying dumb things.
I'm not saying dumb things. It's the same shit every year with Notre Dame. The playoff puts them in, and they get fucking shit stomped.
So does everybody else.
Business. Nuh-uh. That's not true.
Every year there's a semifinal that's a 30-point one way or the other. Hell, last year, and this
How
isn't.
come the only repeat offender constantly is Notre Dame?
This is no.
Name one other team that makes the playoffs that gets shit stomped every single time they make it.
Oklahoma.
That's not true because Oklahoma put up a fight against Georgia. So
Once.
They had one.
That was like 4 years ago.
Still not every single time, like I asked.
Okay, Billy, you got to calm down. You can call back, but you got to calm down. Why is he so mad?
He really hates Notre Dame. I don't like Notre Dame either.
My thing on Notre Dame this year that's different, they have the number 85 strength of schedule left. And
Right.
usually, you look at Notre Dame, they play all these marquee names and all these teams to where they get the benefit. They get the benefit of the doubt because their name and their money and all that. But this year, their schedule's been dog crap.
Well, he's right in one thing. He's wrong in the other. He said Notre Dame doesn't belong in the playoff. That is correct. I think that is correct. I don't know that Notre Dame belongs in the playoff. He also said there's no way the committee puts Notre Dame in the playoff. That's not correct.
I agree.
There is a world where Notre Dame sneaks into this playoff.
The C is starting to part for them right now.
It isn't crazy. Like Michigan State are directly ahead of them. They both got to play Ohio State. Okay, so you could eliminate those two potentially.
One team's getting in out of the Big Ten probably.
Oregon is an underdog on the road this week. They could lose.
I think they will.
All of a sudden they're 8. That puts them up to 5. And Alabama still has to play Georgia. So there's a very easy path. And the committee, if the committee does choose to put a 2-loss team over them, I think it will be Alabama. But at that point, you're fucking Georgia. If Georgia were to beat Bama and then have to play them again, that's fucking Georgia.
See, do you think there would be a scenario where we talk about like Bama loses a close game? Do you think there's a scenario where they would just basically come out and put them in the playoff, but put them 3 and basically say, we think they should be in the playoff. We didn't want them to play this game again right away. Do you think there's a scenario where they almost just say, hey, they're probably 4. We're going to put them 3 just so they don't play Georgia
My
again.
thing on
Do you
it,
think there's any chance that happens?
I think that because that's why they have them at 2 now.
That's kind of what I've been thinking.
Because I think they're setting it up to where, they lost to the number 1 team. They just dropped to 3 because they're not going to let Georgia and Bama play 1-4. And I'm wondering if that's why Bama's still propped up at 2, even though they have 2 wins over winning teams or whatever.
All right. Oh, that was a good conversation. I liked it.
I'm feeling the college football.
Billy was kind of ahead of his skis a little bit, but it got us going. It
really is crazy the way the things have just opened up for them incredibly.
And nobody saw it coming.
Once Oklahoma lost, it just like the door just swung open for them. Cincinnati, because like I said, I've been anti-Cincinnati. Not even just me personally, just saying like I just think they have no chance. And there's still that little part of me that thinks that they're going to put Bama in with 2 losses over both of them.
I don't think, not over Cincy, but over Notre Dame possibly. I don't think Notre Dame is a very good football team, but they just wouldn't lose again. They wouldn't lose to eliminate themselves. John wants to talk about Cam Newton. Hello, John.
How you boys doing?
Great. What's up?
Superman is back in Carolina. Panthers are 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, Falcons, Dolphins, Washington might go to 8-5. If they stay healthy, Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, they got top 10 defense, good receivers. That could be a problem in the playoffs.
I got to be honest, before Cam Newton got there on Saturday, and when Cam Newton got there and he wins on the road, that's a great story. I haven't thought to look at Carolina's schedule. I haven't thought to consider them, but what he just laid out is not an incredibly difficult scenario to believe. If they have competent quarterback play, if McCaffrey is healthy, they got those other things he says, and they play 3 bad teams in a row, including, playing Ron Rivera. Carolina's interesting all of a sudden at the very least.
What I'm curious about on Carolina is Cam and the joke. So, first of all, how about Carolina spinning their wheels at quarterback? They let go of Cam. They give Bridgewater $19 million a year. Then they trade for Sam Darnold. They pick up his 5th-year option. They pay him, and now they're back to Cam. But Matt Rule, their defense is really good. It's very good. Joe Brady, his stock is falling because of what happened with Darnold. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to play defense, and I'll admit it, Saints are fading right now. It's pretty obvious. It's a body count out there for them. They already beat them once. They might have the tiebreaker. I think there's a chance they could get in the playoffs at like 9-8. I don't know about being a problem in the playoffs. Cam is not an accurate passer anymore. I mean, there's no getting around it.
No, but is there since this could be a rejuvenation season? Like all of a sudden he's discounted. He just shows up back in Carolina and somehow magic happens.
Well, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, I think it's possible. I mean, look, he finally looked really good against Arizona, and he mentioned it. Their defense is damn good. They really have a good defense, and Rule's a good coach. So I feel like I could see them making the playoffs. But, you look at the top teams in the NFC, Brandon. We did our top 10 yesterday, and 7 or 8 of them are in the NFC. Yeah, Carolina could sneak in as like the 7 or 6, but that's it.
All right, let's go to Dan. Dan wants to talk college football. Hello, Dan.
Hey, what's up, boys? Just want to talk a little bit about the Heisman watch.
Mm-hmm.
2 quick things. Can Kenny Pickett sneak into that 4 or 5 spot? I'm thinking he should put up huge numbers against Virginia this weekend. And then second to Brandon, I saw in the recent updated odds that Travion Henderson fell back a little bit. Would you still put a flyer on him, or is it too late?
I think I think the way the season has developed, you almost, if you want to invest in an Ohio State player, it almost has to be C.J. Stroud at this point.
Who's plus 250 on the Barstool Sports.
Yeah, and I don't know where Travion Henderson is.
40 to 1.
I did like 40 to 1.
Yes.
I think you probably should take a flyer on that. I think he is worth a flyer because if they get into this game, and especially the Michigan game, if those 2 defensive ends make life hell on C.J. Stroud and he has a bad game and Travion Henderson rushes for 150, 200, 3 touchdowns, he could be the reason they beat Michigan. This thing is so wide open, so razor thin. There is no Heisman standout. One big game by one player could change the entire complexion of the thing, and Travion Henderson is absolutely worth a flyer at that number.
I've got updated Heisman odds in the Barstool Sports book. I'll read it incredibly quick. Bryce Young 2 to 1, Kenneth Walker 2 to 1, C.J. Stroud plus 250, Matt Corral plus 550. Then it drops all the way to Kenny Pickett 20 to 1, Trevion 40 to 1, Desmond Ridder 50 to 1, Sam Hartman 50 to 1.
Also, Kenny Pickett absolutely should be in that 4 or 5 spot.
Yeah, I think so.
That Miami loss killed him.
Yeah, but it wasn't him. They lost 38-34.
No, they scored. And Michigan.
I think he's got a chance to get an invite still. I think I don't love taking Stroud at that low of a number, but I've even seen Garrett Wilson got asked about in a press conference this week. They're all campaigning for him because he got asked. He had the 4 touchdown game. Maybe he's a guy that gets thrown in the mix. One of the receivers gets thrown in the mix. He flat out said he's like, "Nah, Stroud's the guy. He makes me look good. Quarterback's the guy." They're campaigning for him. I just don't love taking him plus 250 because I think it's still such a crapshoot.
But don't you think what I said could apply?
Yes,
I think both of them could have a big game this weekend against Michigan State. But if they get to Michigan and Travion is the driving force that wins that game, that being the biggest game of the year, he might jump the line.
His numbers are really good. He's already over 1,000 yards and all that. He's got a bunch of touchdowns. I just think when it comes down to when they look at it to see who's going to be there, and they just break down purely the numbers, I just think Stroud's numbers are going to stand out so much more. He's already got 30 touchdowns, 5 picks, and I think you're going to see a Kenneth Walker is going to have very, I think, comparable numbers to Travion Henderson. Where a Stroud, I don't think there's going to be guys that have numbers. Maybe a couple guys similar, but I don't think on good teams.
Have y'all ever, Brandon? I know you've been following this even longer than I have. Is this the weakest battle for the Heisman that has ever happened? Nobody wants this thing.
It is significantly the worst Heisman race ever.
Last year was kind of the same way, and then Devontae Smith just took it at the end.
Yeah, but I feel like Devontae Smith started building midway through the season a little bit.
When Waddle went down, it
started
was what
building,
really got him going.
and then last year wasn't great. But even last year, I felt like Trask was kind of he was in there the whole time.
He was a minus 200 at one point at maybe week 6, 7.
After the Georgia game, maybe too.
Yeah, I think there were stronger candidates last year at this time. I think Trask at this time last year was a strong candidate for Heisman. He ended up getting passed because Devontae Smith closed so strong. But this year, I don't Bryce Young?
Yeah, it's
been okay.
The LSU game, they scored 20 points against the beat-up LSU team.
And Kenneth Walker, especially if we go blow them out this week, he's not going to get it.
He's not, but I think he's the one player who has Bryce Young had his spot at the beginning and just hasn't lost it. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Walker earned his spot at the table. He went out and grabbed it. He went out and got it. I'd give it to Kenneth Walker. If we had to give it out right now, I'd give it to Kenneth Walker. But again, he has Ohio State this weekend and might not finish.
It's just going to be tough because he could end up with 2 more losses, which would be tough.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud, I know the odds aren't great, but it's just set up so good with Michigan State, Michigan Big Ten title game. He plays good in these 3. I think he wins it because Bryce Young, he scored 20 points against LSU, who's beat up. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, Bryce Young's also going to finish against the Georgia defense. His last homage to Heisman voters will be against the Georgia defense. So if he torches them, they score 40 points. he might finish.
Yeah,
he might win it.
Just take it right there.
If he goes out and they get drilled and they score 14 points, he's got no chance. So Bryce Young's going to be coming up on a very important game very soon. Adam from Mississippi, what's up, Adam?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and
Dirty
I'm
coast.
not fat, dumb, or ugly, but I am delusional about the New Orleans Saints. So I have a question for you guys. Is Trevor Siemian good? I mean, other than the Saints not being able to make an extra point and the defense not really looking like the defense we know, do you think he will be a starting quarterback for somebody in the league next year?
No, but Sean Payton is such a great coach, and Simeon is a smart guy coming out of Northwestern that he can run a complicated NFL offense and make lemonade out of lemons, basically, and that's what he's doing. He played okay in the Tampa game. The Atlanta game wasn't his fault. The Saints dropped like 10 passes. He did give him a chance, but as far as saying he's a good starting quarterback in the NFL, hell no. But Sean Payton's that good of a coach to make the most out of him and make him look competent. That's my take.
Also,
Cam Jordan is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
What? No, is he? What?
Wait, no, so Cam Jordan's got his back. Is that what you're saying?
I just wanted y'all's input. Mincy, good job on the World Series of Poker, man. I enjoyed the content.
I appreciate you saying
He was only there 5 minutes.
Well, I was there 10 days, but played in it 2 days. So, yeah. Thank you for the I'm glad to hear that on the content. But as far as the Saints goes, man, I'm so mad. But they blew that Tennessee game. I've never seen a team choke a game harder than they blew that Tennessee game. And now they're 5-4. I'm just hoping they can get to 9-8 and squeeze in the playoffs, but it's tough times.
I think the new Mincy noise just dropped. The hot new Mincy noise of fall.
No, dude, that Tennessee game, I was like all but throwing stuff.
It's a great cover though.
Yeah,
phenomenal cover.
Well, it was
for
a
the
rat
Saints.
line. It was only Tennessee by 2.5 when they were that hot. But I mean, they muffed a fumble, muffed the opening kick in the second half. I'm not complaining because Saints fans always complain about the refs, but there was a questionable roughing the passer that led to that touchdown before the half. And then Adam Troutman's dumbass, so I don't know how he's still on the football team, jumping on that false start, the 2-point conversion. I mean, I'm still upset.
All right, so this guy's name is Church. Hello, Church.
Preach.
Hey, Brendan.
Yeah.
Hey, we had a meeting last night, Jersey Jerry Army.
Don't do that stupid gimmick shit.
I would like to hear what he had to say.
Why? No, it's a grown man.
It could have been funny though.
Do you think it was funny?
It could have been.
I love Jersey Jerry. I think he's one of the most talented guys we've hired in a long time.
He's great.
He doesn't need that gimmick, I don't think. He doesn't need that gimmick. He's better than that.
I was curious.
He's better than fucking Kirk Minahan.
I was curious to hear what he had to say. That's all.
Why? Well, if he'll call back, I'll let him in.
And his name was Church.
Ryan, what's up?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I would like to talk a little ACC basketball and Mike's lack of institutional control down at Duke.
Yeah, that's sad.
I got a T-shirt idea for you. Yeah, I got a T-shirt idea for you guys around the Carolina-Duke game coming up. Family versus criminals. What do you think?
Well, now, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. I love when self-righteous Mike Krzyzewski looks stupid I always love that. But let's not just act like North Carolina's never had something shady in the news.
That's very true.
Yeah, like players drink driving and jumping in the back seat so the grandson can take the fall. Yeah, I think that's pretty bad.
Faking classes is pretty.
Listen, I've been in college once. I think you were too, Ryan. I love throwing shade, but let's throw shade properly.
To spot the lie.
Okay, you're done. I tried. I tried.
Also, that doesn't make sense. Which one's the family? Which one's the criminals? Grandson.
That's a good point, actually, by TJ.
That was family and criminals.
Yeah, that was criminal families.
My thing is, these are young guys that are 18 that made an egregious mistake, and I'm not saying they didn't, but they're 18-year-olds making a mistake. When you're faking classes to keep people eligible at a top academic institution, that's a little more offensive because that's coming from a higher level than 18-year-olds making mistakes. Maybe that's just me, Brandon.
I'm just all for a good troll job. I was gonna play a little devil's advocate because I just like a good troll job, and I could see just a rabid fan base of UNC fans wearing white shirts and baby blue that says family, and that dark blue or the royal blue that says criminals.
All right, Ben wants to talk about Auburn-South Carolina. Go, Ben.
All right. First off, fuck Ole Miss. Mississippi State's going to win that in Thanksgiving. My first thing I want to get across.
Good call.
Second pick. I live in Columbia. I can tell you right now, South Carolina fans have bought in to Shane Beamer. I think Auburn, they just lost Bo Nix. I think they're going to be kind of injured, and they're going to have to come to Williams-Brice at 7 o'clock. I think it's money line South Carolina. I don't think there's any way. I don't think there's any way Auburn wins. I like the point, but I don't think there's any way they win.
I kind of like Auburn in this game.
Auburn does have Bama the week after. I don't know if it's a look, but I mean, can you call it a look ahead with the backup quarterback?
If the fans weren't bought into Shane Beamer, I'd probably agree with you. But I think after Florida, living in Columbia, everyone has bought back into Shane Beamer. They've bought back into the Gamecocks. It's going to be a full stadium. They don't have Bo Nix. I don't think their team is going to be able to handle Williams-Brice.
I mean, Auburn, listen, and they had Bo Nix then, but Auburn walked into Arkansas, a tougher place to play, and won by double digits. So outside of the quarterback, Bo Nix being out is bad because TJ Finley came in the other day, and he's nowhere near as good as Bo Nix. So I don't love – this is kind of a stay away from me because I think Auburn is much more talented than South Carolina. You can buy in all you want, but hell – you bought in last week, and you went and laid an egg against Missouri.
And why are you trying to kiss Brandon Walker's ass?
That's definitely debatable. That's definitely debatable about Arkansas being louder than Williams-Brice.
No, that's not debatable. I didn't say it's louder than Williams-Brice. What did I say?
Well, you said it's tougher to play at.
Right, because the team's a lot better.
I still think that's debatable.
It's not debatable. It is not debatable that playing at Arkansas this year is harder than playing at South Carolina. That's not debatable.
Arkansas's got the cold up in the mountains. They got a weird home field advantage with that stuff.
But I'm just saying they got a good team and they're at home versus a really shitty team at home. Which one's tougher to play at?
I'd definitely say going to Arkansas is tougher. I will say this though, despite you coming at Ole Miss, South Carolina has a really great fan base.
A great fan base. I love their fan base.
Even when they're like 2-10, they pack their stadium.
Don't kiss his ass.
Well, no, F him. He came at Ole Miss. Why's he coming at me?
All right. He didn't come at you. He just told the truth. And anybody who isn't growing up an Ole Miss fan realizes what you guys are. Terrible people.
An 8-2 football team.
Yeah, for now.
Having a hell of a year.
For now.
That when you said, I don't know if you caught it, when you said it was a tougher place to play, he scoffed.
Yeah, I heard it.
It just made me laugh inside. I love SEC fans. They're the best.
South Carolina, I will say this. I'll publicly say I respect them more than almost anyone because there's so many fan bases when they go 3-9, you see empty seats. They freaking sold out $85K a game with Lou Holtz. All right, we're going to hit an ad here, boys. Bare bottom clothing, especially this time of year. You need comfortable clothes, stretchy clothes when it's getting freezing cold outside. And Bare Bottom is on a mission to make the most comfortable made-to-last menswear around while giving back to the communities where their clothing is made. Comfy season is here. Stock your closet with comfort without paying the insane markups you see at other online and big box brands. You can feel good wearing your Bare Bottoms because for each item you purchase, a nutritious school meal is donated to a child in need. Everything is built for value. You're getting the softest and stretchiest clothes in the game for a great deal while doing some good in the process. For a limited time, Bare Bottom is giving you an incredibly soft tech tee or natural dye tee for free when you spend $150. You could also get 10% off your first order by going to barebottomclothing.com/picks. That's BEAR, like the animal, bottomclothing.com/picks. Big fan of Bare Bottom Clothing.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's go with my guy, Mark in Philly. Mark in Philly, what's up?
What's up, fellas?
Mark, let me stop you, Mark, before you get started. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Are you giving out the pick that you gave out last night on my show?
No, that can be a Brandon Walker Sling exclusive.
All right, thank you very much. I want to keep that one to myself. Okay, you go forward with your call, please.
Last time I called in, it was Big Evan Rico, and I told them how good Utah's offense was. I believe it was the Friday night game against Stanford. I told them to take the over and their team total over. They cashed both, and I'm calling in about the Utes again. Everyone is saying that it looks like a bad slate on Saturday. It won't be a bad slate on Saturday when another team is knocked out of the college football playoff in Oregon. And it's not just me that thinks it's going to happen. Vegas does too. Utah -3. The line is telling you all you need to know. Utah scored 34+ in 6 straight games. The offense is rolling with Rising. Utah is 4-0 at home this year. If there's anything you can bank on in college sports, it's the Pac-12 cannibalizing itself. And if you look at the underlying numbers, these teams are really similar.
I like your logic on that with Utah at home. Oregon always chokes into the year. Remember they did it against Arizona State 2 years ago. Mark, while we got you on this call, Saints-Eagles Sunday, are you going in Philly?
The Eagles are absolutely winning that game. Jalen Hurts beat a better Saints team last year. They've got more around them this year. I don't think New Orleans – I think they're going in opposite directions here. I'm a bit biased, obviously, but my favorite bet in that game would actually be Eagles team total over 21.5. They've scored 21-plus in 8 straight games, and they finally seem to find their identity as an offense with running the football. They might be getting Miles Sanders back, too, so it's going to be a three-headed running backfield with Jalen Hurts obviously running the ball more than he was earlier on in the year. Devonta Smith's breaking out as well, but Dallas Goedert being questionable with a concussion, that's going to be a huge factor for the offense for the Eagles.
Saints got the number 1 run D. I'm just curious about it. I'm thinking about going and just being the most obnoxious New Orleans guy and seeing if people throw batteries in my head for content. So it's under debate.
It's overblown. It's not as bad as you think it is. It's just as bad in New York or Boston. The Northeast cities are all the same, but Philly gets a bad rap for it, in my opinion. But I like the Eagles because if you look at the quarterbacks they've beat and lost to, they beat bad quarterbacks and they lose to good quarterbacks. They've lost to Dak, Brady, Mahomes, Herbert, and Carr, and then one game against San Fran, and they've beaten Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, and Sam Darnold, and then Matt Ryan earlier on in the year. I think you can pretty much handicap the Eagles based on the quarterbacks they're playing, and they play a lot of bad ones the rest of the way.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate that. You ever get the sense he's a lot better at talking gambling than we are?
He's good. I mean, he comes correct.
He comes correct. He comes the right way.
He comes proper.
He is always prepared. He's always doing his research. He seems like a guy that no matter what he's doing that day, the first thing he's doing is researching gambling.
For sure, and I agree with him on Utah.
I agree with him, too.
I think right now Utah is just a better football team, period.
Yeah, and listen, if I were in the playoff hunt and you gave me a choice of the entire country and said, okay, in November to stay in the playoff, you have to take a road game anywhere in the country, I think Utah would be the last place I'd want to go.
For sure.
And
I would not want to go to Utah.
And Oregon you look at their years, even when they're super competitive, they're always so tough at Eugene, but they choke these road games a lot. I mean, just going back to
I don't want to get crazy. Like I think there's a chance Utah rolls.
Yeah, that might be an alternate Utah by 13. I wouldn't be shocked either.
So let's go with Sam. Sam wants to talk Cincy and Houston. Go, Sam.
All right, so we've got Houston getting ranked last night at 24, and Cincinnati kind of sitting right at number 5. Does Houston getting ranked help Cincinnati quality-wise with their wins this season? And then obviously you've got teams like Oregon this weekend who's got tough games. They possibly lose. Does Cincinnati finally have a clear path to get in?
I think Cincinnati's path is crystal clear. I personally think Cincinnati's going to be in a playoff as long as they take care of business. And the one that scares me the most is not SMU or Houston. It's ECU next week. ECU kind of scares me a little bit. But anyway, I don't know. A lot of people have made this point. Does Houston getting ranked help Cincinnati? It does in the short term, but does it in the long term? Because as soon as what we like to do in this world of college football is look at the rankings after you beat them and say, okay, well, you have a ranked win or you don't. Like when they beat Houston, Houston's going to drop out. So the next week we're going to look, and Houston's not going to be ranked and say, oh, well, they haven't beaten a ranked team. We're going to do that to Cincinnati. That's what's going to happen. So I think Cincinnati's path here has nothing to do with what they do the rest of the season. As long as they win out. If they win out, they're fine. But their path is contingent on what happens in Utah, is contingent on what happens in Ann Arbor, is contingent on those things. And the way it's looking, I think that path is going to clear up because, again, Oregon's an underdog at Utah. Michigan will be an underdog to Ohio State. Alabama will be an underdog to Georgia. That's the teams you got to worry about if you're Cincinnati. And they've got big tests coming up. I think Cincinnati's going to be fine. I think they're going to be in the playoff. 646-291-2437, 888-STOOL22 if you want to call. This is a nice change of pace. I like doing this.
I've been out the last one. I'm so glad. Brandon, I got to say, fun talking college football with you and Ev.
Yeah,
both of y'all are great.
I think we had a weird stretch a couple weeks ago where we had some days with some not great calls. We had good calls today.
Good calls.
Strong
really
calls.
Good. Really good calls. Thank God I don't let you on the ones and twos. You'd be letting everybody talk about God knows what.
I like to hear what people have to say about.
You like trolls. That's what you like. Dylan wants to talk college basketball. What's going on, Dylan?
How are you?
Average.
Yeah, that's all you can be. I got one lock today. Kansas State versus Omaha under 133.5.
Really? Why?
Last year and had. They played last year and they scored 119. And Omaha last year was ranked last in scoring offense. And Kansas State just never scores a lot anyway. So with that being said, I would take the under, and I think it's not even going to be close.
Does that feel like a high total for a couple under teams, though? 133.5?
A little bit. I mean, a little bit, but I don't hate his logic because I think there's some weird college basketball early in the year is weird where you can see a lot of big line swings, big line movements. You're still trying to gauge in teams year to year. There's so much turnover. So I don't think it's crazy. I mean, it makes sense.
I want to give a pick to you boys right now, and I don't often brag on my team. I don't often do this, but I think we were a team to monitor coming into the season, and we haven't played great teams yet, but Mississippi State's played 2 games, held both opponents to 49 points. The defense looks elite. It's a Ben Howland classic team where there's no stars and there's just a defense that suffocates you. This is the team that he's been trying to build for like 5 or 6 years. They got Garrison Brooks. They got Jeffries from Memphis. Like, there's some stars there, but they're all bought into defense. They got Detroit Mercy tonight, minus 15.5. I would suggest you guys maybe look into that line.
Brandon, they're on my card.
Are they? Yeah, because
they are.
I played North Alabama, which is awful. Killed them by 40. They scored 49, and then played Montana, which is I don't think they're awful, and held them to 49, destroyed them 86-49, something like that. Mississippi State's roll.
Are you buying back in on the Ben Howland type thing?
I am buying now. I'm buying this team.
Let me bring up a game just because he brought up Kansas State basketball.
Yeah,
Kansas State football this week.
Yeah,
that's like the textbook letdown spot for Baylor.
And Baylor's also been so tough at home. They're undefeated at home. They lost. We saw them lose at TCU. They lost at Oklahoma State in a close one. They seem like one of those teams that's, you can get them on the road, but they're tough at home.
Like, I mean, that line just screams Kansas State's going to win that game.
Yeah, and it's hovering right there at Pick'em. It's like
I saw +1 this morning. I saw.
Yeah.
While we're at it, so Aranda's from Southern California. His profile rising huge after he just shut down Lincoln Riley. He's getting mentioned for USC and possibly LSU. Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
I think Aranda to LSU would be bad news for the SEC because that would what Aranda to LSU would do would eliminate the Dave Aranda's a football coach. Dave Aranda's a defensive football coach. And what he would do first is he would build LSU into what Georgia is. Georgia's a defense-first football team that is able to get enough offensive talent to supplement them. If Dave Aranda could do that at LSU, which LSU is an easier job to recruit at than Georgia, and that's hard to say, but it's an easy job to recruit at. You lock down one state full of talent. You go into Texas. You go over into the other South. I think Dave Aranda at LSU is a hand-in-glove fit, and I think they're too dumb to hire him.
Yeah, I think
they're stupid.
Oh, yeah, well, the funny thing is all the LSU fans, when they had Aranda, were the most ungrateful for him, and then when he left and they had Bo Pelini, all of a sudden they wanted him back. Because remember the year they won the title, They were allowing a lot of points early in the year, but then they shut him down late. But I agree. They need a coach that focuses on one side of the ball. LSU's identity has always been their defense, their speed at DB. I mean, I think they're overthinking it if they don't look at it more.
If they pay Lincoln Riley $12 million a year,
which is a rumor I've been hearing,
I think that's the dumbest thing they could possibly do. I don't think LSU is going to rise to the top of football with an offense-first coach, a soft coach. Oklahoma hasn't had a defense in a decade. They haven't had one in Lincoln Riley. He's going to do it at LSU?
No, I agree with you because I think that's kind of the way. Like, you need to go in these conferences. Like George, obviously, you just explained. Like George has done it, where you have to just change up the flow. Which honestly, coming from like an Ohio State guy, like. Urban did like the opposite of that in the Big Ten. He came to the Big Ten and said, I'm going to play SEC ball, and we're going to outscore all of you. We're going to
athlete.
We're going to outrun all of you, outspeed all of you. Kind of do like an exact opposite of that. I like the idea. I kind of agree with you. I feel like LSU is looking for like a good old boy. I don't know if Dave Arenado is that.
The thing on Aranda, too, look at his last few matchups against Oklahoma against Lincoln Riley. He shut their ass down Saturday in that playoff game. They murdered them in Atlanta. I don't know. I just feel like they're overthinking it. Aranda, I heard, was real upset that they went with O over him when all that happened. But if LSU pays him, I mean, I'm sure you can get that forgiven.
Do you think, I guess I get more money, but, you think Lincoln's going to leave Oklahoma for LSU?
I mean,
that just seems like a weird move to me.
Woodward pulled Chris Peterson, who no one ever thought would leave Boise to Washington, and he pulled Jimbo from Florida State to A&M. He's known for making these crazy hires.
Fair counter.
I think you're right. I mean, and Oklahoma's going to be in the SEC too.
That's what I'm saying.
It's you're changing conferences.
It's relatively unilateral.
But I think LSU's a better program than Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a top 5 to 10 job. I think LSU's a slam dunk top 5 job.
The high school football in Louisiana and Oklahoma is not even in the same.
Also, you don't have to really work to recruit at LSU. LSU recruits itself in that state, and that state is rich. Whereas Oklahoma has to go to Texas and get their guys.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I just don't. I guess. I think you're.
But I wouldn't. If I'm LSU,
it's like you said. It's like top 5 to 10 to top 5. It's not like it's super.
If I'm LSU though, I don't look and say I don't see anything on Lincoln Riley's resume that makes me think he needs the LSU job.
I don't think so either.
I think he belongs at Oklahoma. I don't know. He's had time to build a defense there, and he just hasn't. Whether he's refused to, whether he's incapable of, he hasn't. They're a soft football team, and you don't win in the SEC with soft football teams.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just think he's going to go there and do the same thing he's doing in Oklahoma, and he's going to just be the third, fourth, fifth best team in the SEC.
He's going to have an elite quarterback, bunch of receivers that run around, catch the ball, a couple good running backs, and defensively,
and Georgia's going to beat them up.
And the other thing with LSU, you look back, their identity's always been their defense, going back to Saban. I know that obviously the Burrow year, they set all the records, but when you think LSU football, you think of that defense, and Aranda would restore that.
All right, let's go with Trey from Memphis. Hello, Trey.
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
It's average. What's up?
So I'm looking at – I got two things I want to talk about. First game would be Friday. It's Memphis at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Houston doesn't really beat anybody by much at home. They're aside from they blew out Grambling State, but anybody in the American, they've only beaten them by 8 points or less. They don't have a home field advantage at all. Like, the city of Houston does not care about that. So Memphis is getting 10, even though they're kind of they've had a down year, but they're still very potent on offense when they want to be. So I'm taking Memphis plus the 10 on Friday night.
Sure.
And the second thing I want to say that I am a writer. Enrico's not there to defend himself, but on Win Total Wednesdays early in the year, I was the first one to say that Houston was going to win that conference outright.
Yeah.
And then now it just sounds like it's a big old Rico pick. He's kind of taking that on his own, and he was there on the show that day, so I'm just saying, not saying he stole the pick.
But you're not saying that.
I'm not saying it.
You are
he was there.
You are a writer.
Reaction was.
Are you a writer?
I'm 100% writer from day one writer.
But he might have stolen a pick.
He at least took it off the shelf and looked at it. I'm not sure if he put it back.
Seems like he's been toting that thing around the library here. He's been carrying that Houston thing. So thank you for letting us know. We will look into this. Again, you're a writer. We've got you marked as a writer, but we're going to investigate Rico for stealing your pick.
It sounds good. It was on the show. I mean, live on the show. He was there. He acknowledged. It sounded like he had never heard it before whenever I said it. I'll say that.
But now it might be his pick.
He did his research, apparently.
He might have taken the book off the shelf. He might have flipped through it a little bit.
Might have flipped through it, yeah.
I like this book.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's like a good book. By the way, everybody, I wrote this book. That's what it is. That's Rico. It is what it is. If you're a writer, that's the ride that you buy the ticket for. Sometimes he's going to take your pick.
This might be a little do-to-diddle we got to come back to. Circle back.
All right, let's go with Tony in the West Loop. Tony. It's your guy, right?
Fellas,
Tony's an
OG.
OG yak guy.
Yes, sir.
He was at 6 to 7. I was screening calls.
Yes, sir. And that was way back in the day. But today, you mentioned Baylor. My model had them 14 points better on a neutral. I know that sounds a little crazy, but the topic I want to talk about is built-in call options. If you think Dave Aranda is the guy, and I think he is, this is a spot that if you're a solid coach that you're talking about, you don't allow a team that is physically superior. I know you're on the road to have that letdown spot. I like them a lot here. The other point I wanted to make is don't bet. I know it's early in the season. Don't bet the Cowboys on the money line this week. Take Dak 7-1. If they do win this game, he is, I would think, I know it's a little soft right now, he's in the driver's seat for league MVP, given the storylines and all that. And then finally, if you're LSU, if I'm LSU, I look in-state. I like Billy Napier for that job. So, fellas, have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you very much, Tony. We'll go backwards to front on that. So would Billy Napier be a solid hire for LSU? Yes. Do LSU fans think too highly of themselves to lower themselves to hiring the UL Lafayette coach? I think that's also yes.
That's where I'm at, too. A lot of the power brokers I know in Baton Rouge are behind Napier. He's an old Saban assistant. He seems like a guy that could run a clean program, which is certainly a concern.
I'm not sure they really care about that part.
Well,
I think they prefer the opposite.
Well, it's just.
Well, you also with the money now, you don't have to worry about it.
No, look, I think Napier do a damn good job. I don't, and he also held out on Mississippi State, Auburn, and South Carolina, waiting on this big opening.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't get it? What if he's?
Oh, there's a great chance he doesn't get it.
Right. Yeah. So he could have coached in the SEC at Mississippi State, at South Carolina, at Auburn, and he decided to wait and see if he could get at LSU.
The Auburn thing was because Auburn's got all those weird trustees, and they told him who his assistants had to be, and he told him to go to hell.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't take that job either.
He's just not as sexy right now as he was this time last year.
He won 4 straight division titles, though.
He's a good coach. He's a solid coach.
He's a very good coach.
But here's the thing. Virginia Tech comes open. They might be looking for a solid coach. Washington State's looking for a solid coach. LSU's looking for a legend, an icon, they're looking for the next Nick Saban. That's what they believe they deserve, and that's what they're going for. They're not looking for solid.
No.
And solid is probably what they need the most.
They need stability.
I think it's very unlikely at this point, but I mean, don't take Urban's name 100% out of it either. I'm just going to leave it. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. I mean, that's the guy that they want.
The Urban thing does feel a lot like Petrino Atlanta.
Why is dog cam on the screen?
My dog? Whoa.
Why? What?
Ho.
You're saying ho.
Urban is capable of pulling the Petrino Atlanta 1-year thing. If there is anybody.
Do we have another ad?
We do, and it's
You guys talk. You read that ad. I'm going to be back in 90 seconds. I just have been in this room for 2 hours. I got to pee.
Fair enough. Barstool Bites is here. We have joined forces with 2 leading-edge industry icons and have partnered to launch Barstool Bites, a delivery and pickup-only restaurant available now in select cities nationwide. Barstool Bites will bring a specially crafted menu inspired and named after Barstool Sports' unique personalities. Thanks to acclaimed chef Eric Greenspan, you can look forward to an amazing assortment of dishes ranging from game day favorites, must-have munchies, and anything in between. All named after Barstool personalities, including Dana Beer's Buff Chicken Dip, KFC's Skinny Fat Wing Collection, and even Glenny Ball's Long Island Sliders, and so much more. Ordering is now available right at your fingertips at www.barstoolbites.com and via the Barstool Bites proprietary app, available for download from both Apple Store and Google Play. So head to barstoolbites.com or download the Barstool Bites app and check delivery or pickup options near you and get $3 off orders of 15 or more with code Barstool exclusively on the Barstool Bites app or barstoolbites.com. Ev, do you have a personal favorite Barstool Bites? Smitty's big. He's pretty good.
I like the cheese curds. I like Marty's cheese curds. I like the chicken. I like the lemon pepper, the Lou Will. It's like lemon pepper and barbecue.
Okay.
Because I'm not like the biggest dry rub guy as much as I always want to be a lemon pepper guy just because Rick Ross always talks about it. And when I tried it at Wingstop, I got to be honest, I wasn't crazy
about it. I feel like
about
my
it.
throat needs, it's almost like your throat feels a little chapped. You need a little sauce.
You need a little lubricant.
I think that's fair. Hopefully, if Barstool Bites explodes, me and Walker need to have some kind of Southern dish in there. Would be
okay. Maybe a
we need like Brandon and I's fried Southern. We need some Brandon and I's Southern fried chicken.
Some
or something
Barstool
there.
Bites gumbo, maybe.
Yeah. So we need something.
Some po' boys?
We need something Southern with Brandon.
I still need.
I just want to mooch off Brandon's name, to be honest.
All right. Yes. That's what you. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Church is back. Church, go ahead.
Brendan,
Yes.
you hang up on me?
No. I don't know what happened.
Classic misunderstanding, I'm sure.
It's not going to make Jersey Jerry happy.
Okay. Go ahead with your call.
Well, first Big Ev wouldn't fight me 2 weeks ago, and now you hang up on me.
Okay.
Oh, it's Church. Oh, I remember Church.
Yeah.
We discussed having a fist fight and then having a beer after.
Okay, fine. We'll go forward with your call, Church.
Well, now the meeting is secret, so you just have to wait for the consequences, Brendan.
You're a grown fucking man. You are a grown man.
Yeah, a grown man that's going to start to squeeze out on Brendan.
You're a grown fucking man.
As are you, and you're wearing 13-year-old girl shoes.
I'm wearing Nikes.
Every girl in my son's school wears those. They're all 13.
No, this is what you do with these guys. Okay.
So just sit back and wait for the squeeze out, Brendan.
Okay.
Big Ev, I love you, player.
I love you too, Church.
Anything else?
I like Church.
So what you do with those guys, the Minifans and the ones that want to identify, you just let them talk because they have nothing.
See, but you know,
they're not intelligent.
I think you got to respect. He at least looked you. Well, he didn't look you dead in your eyes, but he called you personally and said, "I'm squeezing your ass out."
I don't know. I thought
he said Brandon, or actually he said Brendan. He said Brendan, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
I just thought he had a second shot, and you gave him a second shot at a call, and he had a chance to cut an electrifying promo, and I'm underwhelmed.
I thought I like Church. I thought the shoe comment, I thought a better dig could have come of that for sure.
You like him because he was mean to me and nice to you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 100% the reason you like him.
But I do remember, I forgot he had called in and challenged me to Rough and Rowdy, but a Rough and Rowdy where we would just not train and fight after.
I must not have been here that
and
day.
drink after, which I was.
That's up your alley.
That doesn't sound terrible. But he also said he was very, very big. Like, I think if I remember correctly, he was like 6'8", which might be.
He's 6'8"?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong if he's. Maybe I can't remember if he said we were at like the exact same. We were either like the same measurables, or he was significantly taller, which would be a bad matchup for me. But either way.
All right, let's get one more call. And I don't know who to take because there's a lot of fucking calls. No, let's do it the opposite way. No, let's do this. Okay, Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. What's up?
I just want to talk about the Oregon Ducks. I don't think they're deserving, man. I think Stanford has the worst offense in the Pac-12, and they beat them. They have no clue what they're doing. Anthony Brown is a fraud, and the Ducks will not be in the championship.
Yeah, I listen, something's felt off about this Oregon team since Ohio State. They look like a well-oiled machine going into Columbus. They handled Ohio State.
I think it's Verdell, but see, the running back
got hurt, yeah.
He was electrifying in that game.
He got hurt, and then they just haven't. They never got the quarterback right. It's kind of been pulling teeth for them to get to where they are. It's almost like it feels like Utah might be a mercy killing for them.
They just this is kind of how I see them. They've had a few games that I feel like they should have dropped, like UCLA, Cal.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know what this is? I compare them a little bit to Michigan State, where Michigan State, they keep having these lines where they should have lost. They kept getting by skin of the teeth, kept getting by skin of their teeth. Then they got blown out by Purdue. I just feel like this is their time. This is the time that they get smoked. Utah, I think, is a better team.
And Vegas making Utah by 3.
I just think it's the mercy killing. Like, I just think this is their time to lose. They should have lost a few times. I think this is the time they lose.
Okay, so I'm not going to take any more calls. So Wyatt, Brian, Billy, Tiny, Brendan in Connecticut, Jack, Colin, I apologize. I want to thank you guys for calling. Please, if we do this again, call back. But I want to personally apologize to Colin, Jack, Brendan, Tiny, Billy, Wyatt, and whoever else just hung up there. So we'll finish with our picks, and we'll get forward. Last night, Smitty went 5-1. He continues to, lead on this thing. He's going to stretch his lead out a little bit.
The hockey analytics have been working.
But like with Smitty, you know that there are hot streaks.
The volatility is huge.
You know that we're halfway through a month, and he's probably going to come back down to earth. So I think I'd rather be in that 2 spot right now. And shout out to Megan. Megan making money is I don't know where she's getting all these fucking picks.
She's getting them in quick though. I think she's trying to get the lines right when they come out and get the better lines.
Yeah.
She's getting cocky with it. She went 12-8. She tweeted 12-8. Meh.
Yeah, well, that's
sign me up for 12-8 every fucking day.
That's interesting after her last few months.
She's getting cocky. I don't hate it though. I don't hate it.
I'm just happy when I go forward.
All right, I'll lead us off. Football, I got Central Michigan -1.5 and Maction. I didn't really have a strong feel on Maction. I just wanted to have a play, so I got Central Michigan -1.5.
I love that team. Michigan
State -3 tonight. Is that on the road or is that neutral site against Butler? I still like Michigan State.
I think it's neutral. I could be wrong, though.
I told you guys earlier, I love Mississippi State -15.5. This is a team to watch, officially a team to watch. The way they handle their first 2 opponents, I love this number 15.5. Oklahoma State -4. In the NBA, Wizards money line tonight, -106. And then Cavs +10 at the Nets. The Cavs are a good basketball team. Excuse me. I think they lost the other night, but I love them catching 10 points. Love it. Cavs +10 at the Nets. All right, Big F.
All right, in college football in the Maction, I've got Buffalo +1.5. I think this is not a rat line, but they're just very good at home. They're just clearly the inferior team. I just think the line makes no sense, so I like Buffalo. I'm taking St. John's +6 against Indiana on the road. I think St. John's is really good. Champagne's really good. Love Posh Alexander. Maybe my favorite non-Ohio State basketball player in the country. I also like Michigan State -2.5, and like I said before, I'm on Mississippi State -15.5.
Okay, Ben Mintz.
I'm going with both MAC home underdogs. Buffalo +1.5 and Ball State +2.5. I got the Bucks laying 8.5 against the Lakers because it just looks like a rat line. Obviously, LeBron being out, but Vegas saying they want Milwaukee, and I took IUPUI +10 at UTSA because They covered against IUPI covered against Butler, and UTSA struggled the other night. So I'm just taking a double.
Do we have? Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to ask for. So let's just dive into this thing. So that's 14 picks right there. St. Joe's -2. She's got Mississippi State. Okay, I like that.
She spent one semester in Starkville.
Yes, she did. She did. She could have been a Bulldog, but she failed out. She couldn't handle the rigorous academic standards of Starkville, Mississippi. So
she just really hated it too. Is what she claims.
Colored outside the lines.
Super boring.
What? No.
It's incredibly boring.
No, it's not. It's
you want to know
wonderful.
what I rewatched the other week? It was Caleb when they did the Dixie tour.
He was like,
and he literally, and I trust Caleb. He said it was.
You shouldn't trust him. He was lying.
He said it was so, and Hank swears by that it was so fucking lame that it was impossible to make it look cool. So
No.
What, Starkville?
No,
they had to
it's
make
not
it.
true. It's
They
not
made
true.
every
It's a
SEC
wonderful
campus
place.
look incredible.
It's a wonderful
they
place.
said it was so lame that they had to do a parody video.
It's a
of it.
wonderful place.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
Incredible,
place.
just a montage of just Taco Bell.
Two Brothers.
Yeah.
Two Brothers is delicious. The smoked wings at Two Brothers. Restaurant Tyler is great. Taste.
What's their best college bar?
The bar scene.
I know
isn't
things
as good.
change.
Shout out Kirk Herbstreit calling Ole Miss Disney World, and it was the best.
That's SEC college. The
Big
Bar
shout
scene's
out.
not as good. The restaurant scene's good. Rick's is pretty
But
good.
the restaurants, I'm like, you're going to
Dave's Dark Horse is a good bar. Dave's Dark Horse.
Party.
It's decent bars.
That when
I go to college to study, to learn, to make
That's
myself
tough.
great, to enjoy SEC football.
I just asked you your alma mater. Give me one, not even like a
I said
list,
Rick's
give
and
me-
I said Rick's and Dave's Dark
Well,
Horse.
yeah, but you said it was a restaurant.
No, those are the bars. Rick's and Dave's are the bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody's having those questions about Oxford.
Shut
Put it
up.
that
Nobody
way.
cares. You're going to lose next Thursday.
Well, they
Ohio
threw down.
State's
Kirk
lost a ton of
Herbstreit.
That's
games.
why
said it was the
Lane.
most-
That's why Lane
Herbstreit-
Kiffin desperately wants to get out.
Herbstreit said it was the most special place he's been all year.
That's why Lane's on a private jet to Miami right now.
Hopefully not. Not going to win.
He ain't taking my.
We had such a yes, he is. He wants it bad.
You think so?
Yeah, he wants it bad. He can taste it.
No.
Watch. You think I'm lying?
Probably.
We had a good show, and you wanted to end like this.
I think it was a great show.
Yak is up next.